Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the Oscar-winning film from 1992, which is the Clint Eastwood directed Western, Unforgiven. Of course, not only was directed and stars Clint Eastwood, but also has Gene Hackman, who won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, which was the second Oscar in like over 20 years. His first Oscar was for with the French Connection, and that was the first one in over 20 years that he won another Oscar for his role in Unforgiven, and so was Morgan Freeman. Of course, this movie is only like the third Western that won for Best Picture. There was one back in the 1930s that won. Of course, that's with Wolves, and it was like 2 years earlier, and of course now Unforgiven. And there hasn't been a Western that has won for the Oscar for Best Picture since then. In 25 years since the release of Unforgiven. Well, Unforgiven is what I feel is like a stereotypical plot for the genre. The plot is that Clint Eastwood plays an old-time gunslinger, or gets retired at this point from his old days from being a gunslinger and a drunk and a murderer, and he decides to live a quiet life. He got settled down. His wife recently died a couple years earlier, and he's trying to raise his two kids, and like a pig farmer, basically. And when that was going on in this other town, in a small town called Big Whiskey, and that's the name of the town. Only in the Western where they have a town named after alcohol. All right, well, only in the Western, and it's run by Little Bill, played by Gene Hackman, he's usually great in these films. And any role he's done, he's great in. He was great. He plays the sheriff, the local sheriff. He has a little posse who bans guns from and all other kind of weapons from his town, because he wants to keep it as safe as possible. Well, one particular day they have the local whorehouse, and one of the people who works in the whorehouse was Frances Fisher, was played by Frances Fisher, who of course for 5 years later played in another Oscar-winning movie, Titanic. She played Rose's mother in Titanic. Anyway, one of Frances Fisher's character, another prostitute in the whorehouse, got her face cut up by these two cowboys. She gets assaulted. Her face gets ripped off. Because this customer, who was a local cowboy, came in, and of course when he's about to have sex with this prostitute, she saw what his package, because it was manhood, and laughed at him because he's not exactly well endowed. I mean, he doesn't have a big wiener. Okay, you're trying to be less graphic about it. So when she saw his package, she laughed at him, and he, like you just said, he cut her face off. And of course, actually, it was reported to the sheriff. The guy who ran the whole house reported to the sheriff, "Hey, these two guys assaulted one of my girls." And of course, they said, "Okay, we settled the whole, instead of arresting him again and having a trial and maybe hanging these two guys." He decided to sell them, but said, let's give the owner of the whorehouse, there were 5 horses, that would sell the whole thing. The prostitutes, the hookers, they were upset over it. They said, "Hey, how the hell did you get off? These guys deserve to be killed for what they did." And you just let them off easy, give them a slap on the wrist, and they got ticked off about it. So they secretly patched all the money together, about $1,000 between 5 of the girls, and put a bounty on the heads of these two cowboys, just to kill them. And of course, there's one guy who heard about it, whose eyesight is not that great. He's like a young guy, and it's named after the gun that he uses. Excuse me. And he heard of Clint Eastwood's character, being a former gunslinger, former killer, and used to do these type of things all the time when he was younger. So he tracks him down and saying that this is talent has this bounty on these two cowboys who cut a woman's face off. And I said, maybe if you join me, maybe we split the cut. Split the found, and so like $1,000 bounty on these two guys, so you get $500. And first, Clint Eastwood character says, I'm not into that life anymore, and then he realizes that his, not doing so well as a farmer, so he could use the $500. So, but he decided to recruit his old partner, played by Morgan Freeman, and said, let's go. And at first Morgan Freeman agrees to do it, and then he reluctantly, eventually he pulls out. So it's just Clint Eastwood and this other guy, and they, of course, spoiler, they do kill the two guys. But then, what happened was that Morgan Freeman's character gets captured by Little Bill's posse. Once again, Little Bill was played by Gene Hackman, and the Morgan Freeman character gets killed. So out of revenge, Clint Eastwood goes back into the town and decides to take his revenge on the town, including Little Bill, the Gene Hackman character. And of course, we don't know what happened. Clint Eastwood just goes apeshit on this guy. He does like a Dirty Harry act on these guys. Kills pretty much the entire posse. Kills all of them, including of course the Gene Hackman character. So, and then of course that's when he, Clint Eastwood leaves the town and says, hey, don't ever, if I ever hear this stuff is going on with the prostitutes gets abused again, I'm gonna come back and kill the rest of you guys. And say, I'm gonna wipe out the whole town if this shit happens again. So he leaves, and then eventually, he retires for good for being a gunslinger. Of course, this movie did win the Oscar for Best Picture. Like I said at the top, it actually won 4 Oscars. It won for Best Picture, Best Director for Clint Eastwood, Best Supporting Actor, which went to Gene Hackman, like I said, and also best film editing, one of the technical awards. Because Clint Eastwood was also nominated for Best Actor in this film, and I guess maybe because he also directed it, he got screwed out of the Best Actor. Kind of like what happened like years later for $1 Million Baby. He was also nominated for Best Actor. He got screwed out of it, and Morgan Freeman starred in that movie as well, and he got the Best Supporting Oscar for his role in $1 Million Baby, but not Clint Eastwood. He never got an award for Best Actor in any role he had, and they wanted to award the guy twice, I guess. That's kind of like a rule. If you get nominated twice, they usually give you an award usually give you the Oscar for one of the 2 awards. Except for Sigourney Weaver, that happened to her. She got nominated for two awards and didn't win either one of them. That's a different video for a different day. But Clint Eastwood deserved something. He deserved an acting award. I'm sorry, he deserved an acting award, but he didn't get it. He didn't get it. But the movie itself, I thought it was a good movie. And not, of course, it won the Oscars, and actually, of course, it's going to get 4 or 5 stores wherever you go, but wherever you look up for movie reviews. But it was good, and I think I've seen just about every movie from 1990 to 1999 that won the Best Oscar, except I think except for Shakespeare in Love, The English Patient, and Braveheart. I think those were the only three. I think you've seen that's about everything else. I think the other one is American Beauty. I think was the other one. I've seen all the other movies as one for the Best Picture in the '90s. Because frankly, the movies were boring, except in the '80s. The Oscar-winning movies in the '80s were boring as anything. But for Unforgiven, it was a good movie. But there was a couple of other characters. Like there was one called Wild Bill or something, or Killer Bill or whatever his name was. The British character who comes into the town to collect a bounty, and within like about 5 seconds he gets kicked out of the town. I thought that was awesome. Even Cisco and Ebert in their review of this movie said there was a meaningless character, and that should have been disposed of. I mean, that dragged this movie out even more. Which I feel the movie does drag a little bit, because you figure how long is it going to take to get to this town? I mean, it should be within like 30 seconds. It shouldn't take like over an hour or an hour and a half of the movie for them to get into the town. And within the last half hour, that's when all hell breaks loose. I thought it was also could have been short for about 20 minutes. But it got stretched out to over 2 hours. But I felt it should have been just under 2 hours for this movie, like an hour 50 minutes, tops, because it does take way too long for the three assassins against the town. It took way too long, and also all the stuff with the Canadians were getting sick, because they were coming in the rain, and Canadians would get sick, and almost dies. Because I guess it got the flu or pneumonia or something for the rainstorm. I also thought there was an unnecessary scene, because there are some movies that put a scene in there just to pad it out and stretch the story out. And that scene and the whole thing with the Bill character came in, not little Bill, but it was like Bob, I think it was. His character was like completely meaningless. I mean, it was just a waste of time to pad the story out. But tell the film, of course, actually any movie that's directed by Clint Eastwood I feel it's worth watching. It's worth watching any movie that he directed, because he is a very good movie director. At least I feel that way. So that's my review of the movie Unforgiven. Please click on the video. Please rate it. Feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rallyc.com. That's all WDY. And that's c.com. There's a whole page of the Rally Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.